Hi, brother teacher here. I sat here for a moment trying to figure out just how I'm going to address this particular issue of clogged arteries. And it is sort of difficult for me to do this. And the reason being is because it's such a sensitive subject to me. Uh, However, it is a much needed answer to how to clean out your arteries. First of all, anything that carries something else in a tube like structure is an artery. A capillary in the human body is a very small blood vessel, but it is an artery. A vein, even though it's called a vein, is still an artery. It brings blood back to the heart. And then what doctors typically call arteries, such as the aorta, they carry blood away from the heart to all of the body's organs and tissues. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to say arteries. Okay. Now, many people have heard of clogged arteries, and it's been associated with cholesterol. But I'm going to tell you the real reason, in most instances, why we have clogged arteries. And again, it's not going to be what you've been told that it has been the reason that is. But let me give you my disclaimer. And I've said it before, I'm not a medical doctor, nor am I a scientist educated in the College of Academia as far as medicine is concerned and physiology and so forth. But what I am a human being. I'm a man who has studied for over 40 something years about the human body from a muscular standpoint to a internal standpoint. And I believe that I know what I'm talking about. I have not been sick or ill for some for over 20 years. So I think I'm doing something right. Doesn't mean that I'm doing everything right, but I think I'm doing something right. But as you are, I'm on a journey as well. And I'm on a journey to good health. Now, I don't want to get off the subject on some other tangent, but I just want to tell you and encourage you that you can live as close to a healthy life as possible if you take precautions and if you're conscious about how you treat this physical building that we all have. We only have one body and we only get one shot at this thing, ladies and gentlemen. So it behooves each and every one of us, when someone is offering you help, to at least pay attention and to at least follow through and go back behind them and do your own due diligence and your own research and find out if what we say or people like myself says has any validity to it or any credence. Okay, it's really just that simple. Don't make it harder than what it is. Don't strain at a gnat. And what that means is that don't make a small thing so big. It's common sense. Now, the subject matter as I began was how to clean out your arteries or unblock your arteries. I'm going to tell you two things that block your arteries. There's some other possibilities. There are some other things that cause arteries potentially to become blocked. Medication is one. Okay? Certain medications that you take that are prescribed. But the key culprits that cause blocked or clogged arteries are things that are within our control. Number one is meat. We originally were not intended to eat meat. Meat can clog your arteries. Now, I'm going to slam the brakes on right now on the meat. And I'm going to get to the one that really, really should be focused on. And that is dairy products. Now, cheese, I know you like it on hamburgers. I know you like cheese potato chips. I know you like it on macaroni and cheese. I know you like it on all types of other delicacies and tacos and things like that. But it is a dairy product. Yogurt. I know they say it has good probiotics in it, that it is good as far as diets are concerned. But it's a dairy product. Even when you have cakes and pies and cookies, some of the ingredients are usually milk-based or dairy-based. It's difficult, not to mention ice cream, I left that out. It is difficult to get away from dairy in virtually everything that you do from a culinary standpoint, ladies and gentlemen. But milk, they've said, does a body good. But those are only lobbyists pushing that. Those are only the billion-dollar industries or milk or dairy industry that's pushing that because it brings in billions of dollars a year. But milk really is killing us. We, human beings that is, and you probably have heard this before, we are the only creature after we have been weaned from our mother's milk, we continue to drink milk. First of all, ask yourself this question. What's the purpose of being weaned from drinking milk? Give up? Well, first of all mammals that drink milk, dogs, cats, horses, cows, every animal that drinks milk, when it's done drinking milk, it goes on to the next level of food or a more complex food. Milk was only there for a period of time until the animal or until the human being gets of a certain age, they stop drinking milk and they start eating a more solid food. But how is it that human beings don't take that lesson from the animal kingdom? They know when to stop. But we are not drinking our mother's milk when we're weaned from it. We're drinking other animals' milk, i.e. the cow. That milk was intended for calves, not for human beings. That's why we are all lactose intolerant. All human beings are lactose intolerant. Some are worse than others. Some respond more chronically or severe than others. But we're all lactose intolerant. I've said this in a previous video. There is lactose in milk. Lactose is a sugar. Okay? Mothers have something called lactate. Now, lactate, this in all of us actually, lactate is a enzyme that breaks the sugar down, the lactose in the milk, the mother's milk. Once you get to a certain age, your lactate decreases and it is no longer able to break down the lactose or the milk sugar. And that is what makes you, me, and everyone else lactose intolerant. We no longer have enough lactate to break the sugars down in the milk. And that's why you have stomach problems, you have gas, bloating, and so forth. Because we're all lactose intolerant. We were not designed to drink milk past that developmental stage. But we continue to drink milk. Why? A lot of people like to taste the milk. They like to taste the milk when it's in various products. They like the taste of milk when milk is drank in conjunction with sweet things such as pies and cakes and cookies and things like this. We have been engineered to like milk. They like milk, or we like milk, when you put chocolate or cocoa in it, when you put strawberry in it and change the flavor and the composition. And they do all of this stuff in the laboratory. They know what we like. So the industry puts it in front of us all of the time, and then they put it on the billboards and they advertise it on television and the radio stations and so forth. You can't get away from it because it tastes good, but it's not good for us. So let me back up a little bit and tell you what happens in the body. Milk has a protein in it. When you drink milk, that protein is in excess. In other words, it is too much protein for the human body to process. So it is absorbed into your bloodstream. And while it's in your bloodstream, it's within the artery walls. So that protein begins to damage the inner walls of your arteries. In other words, it's scarring it up. So your body's defense mechanism starts to try to prepare those walls of those arteries by depositing calcium deposits in those spaces, if you will. And while it's dropping these calcium deposits, it's causing the circumference or the area of those arteries to be compromised, and it's making the arteries smaller and smaller. And that leads to high blood pressure, because the blood is trying to force its way, or the heart's trying to push that blood through a much narrower space than before. But it only became compromised because of the protein from the milk scarring up the inner walls of the artery. And then your body's trying to protect that artery. It starts to repair it. But during that process again, it starts to build calcium on the inside of the arteries. And then it makes the space in the arteries smaller. And it causes what? High blood pressure. And eventually, and it has happened to many people, and it has taken many people away from this life. It has killed, in other words, many people, many hundreds of thousands of people. So what happens? They have a heart attack, because sometimes that artery closes completely, and then the blood can't come through there. And all of a sudden, you're grabbing your chest. You have a heart attack. And then the doctors have to perform some invasive procedure and repair that blockage. You know the rest, especially if you've had a heart attack before as a result of a clogged artery. Or you can even have a stroke. You choose. It's your life. So now that I've given you a little bit of information, what are you going to do about it? Hello? What are you going to do about your life or the rest of your life? Now, let me say this before I depart. I have a close friend who's a student of mine as well. He has a pacemaker. I'm not going to discourage anyone to stop taking medication once you have gotten to that stage in your life of you being dependent upon medication and something electronic to keep your heart going. I'm talking to those individuals that can still be saved. I'm talking to those individuals who don't have that issue yet. If you're consuming mass amounts of milk or dairy products, you need to stop doing it now. And as I said before, I'm going to say it again. one of the remedies for unblocking your heart is cayenne pepper. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned cayenne pepper in conjunction with lemon and in conjunction with ginger and then garlic, and boiling that and then drinking that. That will do the job over a period of time. But you have to be consistent. Don't do it 1 or 2 days and then skip 2 or 3 months and go back to your bad eating habits again and then say, oh, it didn't work. You have to do this on a regular basis until you start feeling better and seeing results. Because your bad health didn't happen overnight. So there's not going to be a miraculous event overnight as well. But you will, through time, come back to nearly normal, if not all the way normal. I can't diagnose your condition because I don't know everyone that's watching this video and who you are. As I said, I'm not a doctor, but I am someone who does study the world in which I live, especially concerning health. So think on these things. If you have any questions, any comments, please do feel free and leave them in the comment section below, and I will respond to you. Okay? As I always say, Yahweh loves you, and I love you. I'll see you in the next video. This is Brother Teacher. I'm out.